Hello and welcome to TV Chef Fantasy League. I'm your host and commissioner, Sierra Cato, here with my co-host Mike Caballon and our returning guest host, Brian David Gilbert,
Hello,
back
hello.
with us. Thank you.
Really nailed
Um,
his name.
I
Thank
know.
you.
I'm that was the first time I said it. Um I we are finally allowed to, I guess, say we are remote because we may be in a transition stage between physical studios.
hmm
So get excited for that. But yes,
Yeah,
so we're
for
all
all
on
of your
Zoom right
Maximum
now.
Fun shows. Any
Yeah.
any shows recording Maximum Fun studio time. We're getting an upgrade, baby.
Honestly, all those memories we three have together in that old space,
Sure,
it's
it's
We
just
go
so
way
I feel
back.
so sentimental right now. I'm
Feels
so
like that was
nostalgic.
days
I don't
ago.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know who we're going to be in a new space,
Wild.
so tied to the one or the place of our meeting.
Now,
But very
conversely, if he's going to
exciting.
come back from Australia and be like, "What happened? Where is everyone?"
It's a
That's
good
true.
prank.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Let's
Yeah.
agree now not to tell him about the move.
I think, look, honestly, if he shows up late to places he's been to a million times, I cannot
It's true.
imagine what it's going to be like for you all. I'm
A new
glad I will
spot.
not be hosting when you start recording like an hour and 45 minutes after when you should
Yep.
have. It'll be
Better
great.
Sure,
accurate.
sure. We
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, that's your magic sauce, Brian. You are here when if he is not,
Yeah.
you step in for him while he's in Australia. And we appreciate it. How's it been now that this is your second week watching Bake Off, while being involved in a league?
I just, they say don't monetize your hobbies. And
Oh no.
I just felt no joy watching it
Yeah.
this week.
You're right. It's
I was
all-
so locked into the work aspect that I was
Mhm.
like, how can I even appreciate the British joy that they're giving me at this
Ugh,
moment?
I'm
No,
sorry.
it was,
can't-
I watched it. I'm glad to say, slightly embarrassed to say that I probably watched this about the same way I normally do, with the same amount of judgment, the same amount of, oh, I could have done better than that. I think me being a part of this league just kind of elevated my reasons to have that amount of judgment in my brain. So I appreciate
Oh.
that. It's given me an excuse.
Oh, that's
Sure.
that's good because I very much resonated with. I've monetized all of my hobbies and I'm miserable constantly.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Yeah,
in my
yeah.
life that's for fun anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And good thing we're making so much money off of these.
Oh, we're really just
off of
rolling
Bake
in
Off
it.
specifically.
Yeah.
No, wonderful. But yes, it is true. Don't, stay in school, kids, and don't monetize your hobbies.
Yeah,
No, it's a joy. You never work a day in your life, or you work
Mhm.
every day and every hour of your life, depending
you
on
work
how
every
you
day
look
and it's
at it.
miserable every single day.
Yeah. No, we're having fun here. So it's Meringue Week. We'll probably dive right in here.
Mhm.
Pretty exciting. First ever. I didn't realize they'd ever done
Yeah.
a Meringue Week before.
Me neither. It seems kind of
Yeah.
weird. It feels like the kind of thing they would have done at some point.
Truly,
it's,
when they mentioned that it was going to be Meringue Week this week, it was as if a bunch of false memories popped into my brain where I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
Berenstain
yeah, Meringue Week.
Bears.
We always
Yeah.
have Meringue Week. That's the thing we do here.
Yeah.
So I was taken aback when they said it was the first time.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like a really, strong component of baking. But I
Yeah.
guess what I noticed is it's always still like added on, or it's kind of the topping. So I could see them not really thinking of it as like the theme here.
Yeah.
And it seems like Prue is just absolutely disgusted by everything meringue. So I don't know why she would ever want to participate.
Yeah.
No,
maybe
she likes
that's
a
why?
baked meringue. When it came for the showstopper, she was like, like I'd imagine if you put a pavlova in front of her, she's gonna love it. But like that, like gooey topping version of
She hated
meringue, I'm
that.
like, I actually kind of get it.
Yeah, I see. It's like kind of it can get slimy, kind of a slime.
It's a very
glue
sticky
situation.
substance that I think is
Yeah.
always like in my head I only think of the hard meringue, that like the one that is almost like
Right.
styrofoam, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the thing.
Pavlova style, yeah.
I didn't enjoy
Got
it as a kid because of like the weird texture of it.
Chalky.
Now
Sure.
I like it, but
I love
it.
but I don't think I ever even realized you could just put it out half soft, right? Like that
Oh,
was
like
I
you
don't
ever had like a lemon meringue pie at a diner?
That's
I
the only
guess
thing I could
yeah,
think.
I guess that like toasted. Maybe I'm just not having enough meringue in my life. That's why.
You got to get more meringue in your
Well,
life,
yeah,
baby.
well, if there were ever a week to do some more meringue week. But yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, I was also picturing kind of more of the chalky thing. Trader Joe's had a good meringue with
Mhm.
chocolate chips inside, which I think kind of helped break up the texture a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there. But
I love,
anyway,
I love a baked meringue so much. I had pavlovas at my wedding. So
oh,
you're talking to a
wow.
certified meringue head over here.
Yeah.
Thank
Whoa,
goodness.
yeah, really bearing the lead there. What
Yeah,
kind
one
of what was
expert.
this?
We had
the
mixed.
specific?
We had a million desserts at my wedding because I love dessert. So we had a whole table, but one of the things that was served on plates was a mini berry pavlova to every guest, and
Ooh,
it was
So
berry.
great.
nice.
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, fascinating. So, so yeah, 6 bakers left. It's getting kind of small here, getting kind of cozy in the tent. I guess Noel was wearing a playing cards and dice pattern button down. If anybody is
Yeah.
interested,
Because meringue is such a risky
roll of
bet.
the
A
dice.
gamble?
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
yeah.
I
You never
believe it.
know. People were really struggling with the you have to get the perfect ratio to get those peaks. That was a big part of the
Mhm,
Yeah.
gamble. Okay. So he kind of connects. But we'll dive right into the signature challenge. So for the signature challenge, they had to make 12 mini meringue pies with a buttery short crust pastry, a tasty filling, and an exquisite meringue topping. So again, where this is just the topping, this is obviously, this is where they told us about the 3 types: Swiss, Italian, and French meringue. Had no idea there were 3 types.
I didn't
Yeah.
either. Neither did Jasmine. And also, they only the 6 bakers. They only made 2 of them. We didn't even get to the third one. I forget
No.
which one, but I remember they were like, "These 4 are making this kind. These 2 are making this kind." I was like, "No one's
And
making the third kind."
mystery
Interesting.
extra. I think that was the thing was that Paul Hollywood was like, obviously we have the 3 types of meringue, and I was like, obviously? Are we sure?
Not obvious. Yeah.
Are we positive
Paul's
about
world.
that?
Oh boy, yes. A lot of things are obvious to Paul that are not to the rest. But we'll start with Tom. So he definitely had that struggle with the grossing out Prue, but he did his rhubarb and strawberry meringue pies. He did a ginger Swiss meringue, so that Swiss is covered there. They called his Nita as a pin. So basically, what happened here? It was like Prue was like, "Oh, I don't like it when it's so torched." And then he torched it too lightly. And then she was like, yuck. It's like now just raw. Or like
yeah.
she didn't say raw, I guess I should underline. But, it was like too slimy. So she's like, actually, that's what I hate. So I think she just was saying, if you're going to torch it, like go for it.
Do
or
it.
at least toast it all around. Don't leave some slimy and some toasted.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
can
sorta like-
respect that.
Yeah, I feel like it's like when you're making a s'more, there's like an appropriate amount of like char to the marshmallow that you want. You know what I mean? Like if you don't char marshmallow enough, then you just have raw marshmallow on a s'more. And if you do too much, then it's just like burnt goop. You know what I mean? You want like a middle ground.
Good. Totally. No, that's exactly like the mouthfeel or like the texture is when you undercook your s'more and you're like, oh, this could be so good, but it's not because something just is missing.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. That makes sense to me. They said it was not overly sweet, so that was good. So they generally liked his, but like it was kind of a fail for Tom. He has high standards. They have high standards for him. Next was Leslie. So she had her lemon and raspberry meringue pies with edible flowers, lemon curd, raspberry gel. She brought lemon verbena from her garden, so she gets.
Oh, I missed that. Okay,
I
that's
love
good.
to see that. That's honestly,
cute.
again, thank you, Leslie, for that. Really happy that you seem to have all of the things in your garden. That's always the best.
Yeah, I know. So she grew. Yeah, and I always wondered what lemon verbena was because I've had like bar soap that's like lemon verbena.
Yeah.
I was gonna say themed, but like scented, I guess. But I guess it's a flower.
I'm sorry, you did just make me for the first time ever think about that. I guess in my head, growing up with lemon verbena, I assumed that was like a region. I don't know. Like I don't know what I thought it was.
It's from the Verbena region of France.
That's the special lemon.
Yeah, it seems like that.
I have
part of the
no
world.
idea
Okay,
what that
I'm
is.
I'm
here
really
we go.
glad that you guys
It's a
are.
bee brush. Okay, yeah.
I was going to say, I'm really glad that both of you guys are in the same boat because notoriously one of my oldest friends will not let me live down the time in freshman year of college when I stepped outside and was like, oh, it smells like soap or shampoo out here. And she was like, do you mean flowers? It smells like flowers. You know that soap smells like flowers, right? Because I grew up in a desert. So I'm just like, I did not grow up in like a botanically minded family.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't identify any plants worth shit. Truly the best part of like having AI on my phone nowadays is I can point at a plant and be like, what is this?
Oh, that's fun. Yeah, it's one good use of AI and the only one. But yes, it is very it's not your fault. You were botanically deprived as a child in your desert grounds. I'm looking up lemon verbena. I guess it basically points me to lemon bee brush, which is maybe another term for it, but it's like a flowering plant, but it's also an herb. I guess they use it in it's kind of described as a Spanish fragrance. So yeah, so maybe it is a region. It's in Spain.
Maybe. Again,
so there you go. We're all right. But okay, good. Glad we could clear that up for all the pots and pans out there who are wondering. Pastry for Leslie was a little pale, overworked, but delicious lemon curd, just a little thick and gloopy. Not the best description.
No.
The meringue was lovely though, and the flavor combos were balanced. So yeah, somewhat okay there.
Was this the challenge? I didn't take notes. Where she had the raspberry in the piping bag and it came out like white and red at the same time, or was that?
That was, I think, the last one. I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
that was
never
the
mind.
showstopper.
I was just gonna say that was really
sure.
pretty, and I appreciated that, but never
Yeah.
mind. I'll save that.
Yeah, she did
Save
that
it.
trick, I think, with the
It's
wedding
cool.
cake ruffles or whatever. We'll get to that.
Right, that's right. Her wedding cake. Yeah, yeah.
But yes, next we have Jasmine with her raspberry and passion fruit meringue pies, Swiss meringue. She was also in the Swiss category there. Hers they called absolutely perfect, and she got a handshake. So here's what's interesting. She got not a right-handed handshake. She got a fake out with the right hand, and then he gave her a left hand, which has never been done before in Bake Off history. He described it later. Paul Hollywood said it's not as good as a right hand handshake, but so anyway, it's very weird. But to me, I was thinking still gets the points. It's still a handshake.
Yeah.
Maybe it is actually less than the regular handshake, but I don't know.
To me,
I
it's a
can't
half
imagine.
handshake. It's because he
Interesting.
specifically went for the handshake and was like,
He did,
no,
yeah.
it's which a bitch move. Don't do that, Paul Hollywood.
I know, annoying.
Just commit to the, you know what I mean? But then I think he even said like it's sort of like a half a handshake, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So should we go for the 1 point there? Because again, handshake would be 2.
I think it's a 1 point handshake.
Yeah, I think it's a 1 point handshake. I also just want to say that if this were a cartoon and I was watching this season, I'd be like, what are they're merchandising handshakes somehow? Like I'm like they're throwing out so many new versions of handshake that I'm like, oh, they're trying to make more action figures of Paul Hollywood's
my
handshake.
God.
That's what my like brain goes to is that I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, they've introduced a bunch of new characters. They need to get some new merchandise out there. Except right now, it's just Paul changing the rules of the handshake every single episode. And it means nothing to me anymore.
It means nothing to them, which is sort of their escape hatch. They're just like, well, the handshake is meaningless to begin with. And I'm like, that's sort of a cop out. I hate when people do that, you know?
Right. We're over here monetizing our hobbies. We need some actual breakdowns of what the value is. Okay. But yes, I do think, okay, great. So we'll give her a point for that. It was a left handshake. We'll describe it. That's a new category here, but yes.
Yeah.
And this is it would behoove me to say, no, it should be a full
why-
thing. But I think in fairness,
Okay.
I would argue a left-handed handshake is worth half the points.
Wow. Okay. Yes. No, let's acknowledge that for sure.
Mhm.
I'm over here, hoping for less for Jasmine because Mike and I are neck and neck. But yes, I appreciate the sportsmanship.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on from that left hand shake, we'll get to Aaron, who did his almost Mont Blanc meringue pies. So he inverted the Mont Blanc chestnut with blackcurrant and sort of did a yuzu and blackcurrant meringue, compote, and chestnut cream. It was let's see, he kind of blowtorched it a little unevenly, or they kind of said it was all over the place. Prue wanted more of the chestnut, so maybe the more original Mont Blanc flavors, but she said she would buy one in a pastry shop. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
Once again, this is the same thing as the fucking beef patty where they're like, we're not going to give you a handshake, but we are going to eat it for lunch. If they're like,
Yeah, insane.
I would buy this in a pastry shop, but you could have blowtorched it more. I'm like, you guys, you gotta be consistent here, you know?
Mhm.
Something is off. Yeah, especially when
I'm just saying that's a left-handed handshake. Like we just designated what this new form of handshake
Yeah.
means. This could have been another way to really like lock in the meaning of the left-handed handshake. That's all I'm saying. We should have given another one. Then I would have had no ups. I would have been totally fine with the left-handed handshake.
I agree.
You just have to set the rules.
Yeah, they're not setting the rules. I mean, speak about the patty again, back to his like platy, sorry.
Yes.
Right.
That
Yeah,
was,
that's right.
Yeah, great name. But yeah, even better branding, he could take that right to the store.
Yeah.
But yeah, they basically, the main complaint for that was that it was underbaked slightly, but it's like, that totally deserves a left-handed handshake. They loved it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. This is getting
to
out
that
of hand.
end, shout out to, I have to find it, our pot and pan, whose name is Amy, who sent us a reel that Tom and Aaron did on TikTok of like, they did like the handshake TikTok trend, but it was making fun of the fact that Tom's had so many handshakes and Aaron has had almost no handshakes. So
I know.
they're aware.
There you
They're
go.
aware. Yeah. it's getting a little weird. But yes, so he did not get a handshake, but generally they were. Oh, I guess I should say he was the only one who joined Allison for the meringue when they were doing the meringue
Right.
dances.
Yeah, I love that.
Very fun.
It really felt like the editors were throwing Allison under the bus to be like, oh, here she goes trying to make this bit work. And including all the people who would not do with her. And I'm like, you guys have a little bit of joy in your heart. You're on the Great British Baking Show. Do the meringue with the host.
Meringue. How can you not?
It's perfect.
Think of that. Yeah. Another rhubarb pie coming in with Ian with his lucky rhubarb meringue pies with almond frangipane and pâté sucré. He researched the history of, he's a pretty big, it sounds like Bake Off nerd.
Yeah.
And he said people who use rhubarb don't go home. And well, I think that's kind of held true here.
Yeah, I did not have time to verify that claim, but I believe it. Kind of ironic because Tom also did rhubarb and they kind of didn't really like his bake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting. It was like, this is the first time that I've seen a contestant this whole episode Ian was referencing past Bake Off, right? But like truly I was like, Ian is playing this like that one guy who memorized every single Price is Right price point. Did you ever hear about this person?
No.
Okay, so apparently there was a guy who like figured out he knew exactly which like brands they would bring in, and he memorized exactly, and so he went on Price is Right and he got every single thing exactly right. I was like, this is the closest we have gotten in Bake Off, where it's like, I know that rhubarb means you don't go home. I'm doing this purely by a numbers statistic situation, and I really appreciated that.
I thought you were talking about Press Your Luck guy. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, that was another. I think that's I think those are two disparate but similar stories.
People gaming the game shows.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Or like, I also think, bringing it closer to home when we talk about Top Chef, I feel like the reason so many people were rooting against Buddha Lowe in his first season of Top Chef is because he kind of like played this game where he was like, here's what's worked in the past. I'm just going to do that. He's like, I'm going to play to what the judges like. I think people didn't like that, but I'm like, that's the game, man. I don't know. Get on board.
Yeah. I think because I'm such a big fan of Top Chef, it just makes me frustrated if they come in and make the same mistakes that have been made in the past.
Right.
Like,
exactly.
They're very tried and true things. So I appreciate it when someone's like pretty, at least somewhat aware, but I do get like, it kind of maybe takes away the magic of the show. So probably the producers want to be like, pretend you don't know, like we're in a magical world where Bake Off doesn't exist. You don't know you're going to be famous right now. But yes, it is funny to hear Ian kind of do it. I would say him and Tom both using rhubarb. Rhubarb wasn't the reason they didn't like their dish.
And neither of them went home.
And went home.
Yeah, it still stands that rhubarb will keep you in the game.
Yeah. And because he did mess up other aspects, like, and they even wanted more flavor of the rhubarb from Ian.
Right.
What else did they say? Yeah, they just said it was like complicated, beautiful, but just honestly wanted more rhubarb. So he could have gone further down that path. And then finally, Toby with his apple lattice meringue pies. He kind of had he almost forgot the walnuts, and so I was like pretty worried. He's obviously on my team, but turned out they were great. He pulled it off. It looked really cool. And yes, he got a real right-handed handshake for a whopping 2 points. So there we go.
I was like looking away or something when he was talking about how his meringue was going to be brown. And when they were tasting, I was like, where's the meringue? And then as they were talking about the fact that it's the lattice, I was like, okay, that's for sure a handshake right there.
Yeah, it looked completely like it disappeared totally into the pie kind of look. And it kind of, I had to think back like, oh yeah, how does meringue work? Oh, I guess it could be like that. Really, you can pipe it in any way. It's just sort of the traditional ways look more like it's been piped out of a certain pattern. But so that's a first for Toby. He's never gotten a handshake. He really oftentimes screws up these signatures. So I was happy to see it.
Good for him.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on to the technical challenge. This was another first, or maybe not a first, but I guess just first of this season, staggered start time and finish time. I guess because meringue is so sensitive. And
have we had it before in other seasons? I feel like the answer is yes.
It's possible there was a staggered. This one I think was just so short. Was I think the thing that made it. There may have been one. I'm totally blanking right now, but the fact that it was like at an hour bake time, it made that like constant flow of people seem a lot more spread out. Like I thought that made it. I enjoy what they're doing to the technicals this season. I want to say like they're playing around with it in a fun way. Also, this was the first time in a technical in a very long time that I was like, I would eat that. That looks like I would enjoy it.
Okay. Yeah.
Wait, are you usually a no on the technicals?
Most of the technicals, I'm always like, the better stuff is what you're doing for the signatures, and this is just a weird little strange recipe. This one was the first time that I was like, I could eat the heck out of that. That looks nice.
Nice. You didn't want to eat the meat with the suspended egg in the middle rectangle pie?
Maybe it's just that is so recent in my brain that I'm like, I hate all technicals.
Technicals are disgusting.
Technicals are terrible.
No, this one, you're right. This one was very like a souffle. I mean, we can all get behind a souffle, even though some of them were liquid. It's I think I would eat a liquid souffle. You got the sugar in there. Some had too much sugar. We'll get into it, but
I wouldn't. Yes. I'd send it back. I'm not. Look, if I'm making it at home, then I'm like, you're grading on a curve. I'm a shit baker. Let's eat the liquid souffle. But in a restaurant, it's like you order the souffle. First of all, I'm not a huge fan of souffle. So I'm not really going to order the souffle.
Okay.
But if they have it on the menu and you're going to order, then it's like it's a ballsy move to put it on the menu. Because it's like we're going to do this extremely difficult technical thing perfectly every time for every guest. So when it comes out, and then if it came out and it was liquid, I'd be like, no, sorry, I want the real thing. Send it back.
Yeah, you're right. No, I think you're in the right to do that, especially for like a nice restaurant with a promise. But so this was their challenge. Their technical challenge was to make 4 perfectly risen souffles made with raspberry Italian meringue base, served alongside a leaf-shaped tuile, which they said was a curved leaf-shaped tuile. So that was also another little wrinkle to their challenge. So Ian started, and then they kind of trickled everybody else in, as we described. Leslie actually got quite a few half points here, because first she restarted her tuiles, so she got half a point there, and she restarts a lot of other stuff, but we're only going to give her half a point for all of it this episode, as we do.
I thought she was power gaming. I was really hoping
she really did. Yeah, she racked up. I think all around, like I kept being like, that's a point for like this is a high wattage episode. Yeah.
It's like she knows our show and our scoreboard.
Leslie, we love you. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, thanks.
Hell yeah. And she said gutted, so she got half a point there as well.
Yeah,
all in the technical. I would say, I did want to acknowledge that hers was raw, but she said it was raw, but the judges didn't say. So I think we're not going to give that a minus point for that. Yeah. Normally, when it's raw, I'm thinking it's the judges saying, "Hey, this is raw." But in this challenge, even though there were quite a few ones, they just said liquid. So I guess maybe fair. It's okay because it's souffle, so they were like still eating it. Yeah, it's not like, I don't know. It just to me,
I have a question, and maybe you were about to talk about this. Are we going to give Tom points for helping? Because was this the challenge where she was like, I did 150 grams of egg whites, 300 grams of sugar, or whatever, and he was like, you did it backwards.
That was the next one. That's right.
Okay.
And there's another.
I got to take better notes. That's on me. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It all blends together. They're making a lot of meringue. But yes, I do think that there's a couple instances where there's some. Actually, Tom kind of has a couple helping instances that I'm going to run by you guys soon. But
okay, all right.
Hold for technical. So we'll just get through these rankings. Sixth place was Leslie. Hers was, of course, underbaked liquid, thick, different tuiles, all that stuff. Tough challenge. Then fifth was Tom. They said nothing going for it, which I thought was a funny dig, unfortunately. Fourth was Jasmine. She had good tuiles, but hers was liquid as well. Third, with half a point, is Toby. His didn't really rise enough. And the peaks, I guess, they didn't want stiff peaks. That was kind of a question among them. They're like, did they want stiff peaks? It was like kind of more, I don't know, whatever's not quite that stiff. And then second was Aaron with 1 point. He got a bit of a height. His was still wet in the middle. Flavor was okay. It was just lumpy. Tuiles were too thick. And then finally, first was Ian. Good for him. Yeah. All that studying paid off. 1.5 points. His got like the best height. His like rose, and he was first too. So it was kind of
felt too high. I when they showed the shot in the oven, I was like, get those out of there. And even he was like, that's insanely high. But they were like, no, that's the correct height.
Yeah, I'm so surprised. Plus 230 grams too much sugar that it even allowed to do what it was supposed to do with that much.
Yeah.
Honestly, the experience of like if you had shown me a souffle, just in general, if any amount of food is sticking that far out of the bowl, I'm like, you ran out of the correct bowl for this. I don't know why are you showing this to me?
Yeah.
So I already any amount higher, I'm like, that's impressive. But his was like 2 or 3 inches. Like it felt like seriously way too tall. But in a good way. Again, I was that was the one I was talking about when I was like, I could eat this technical challenge.
Yeah,
that was the one.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, it looked like comically tall. Yeah, it was very much like, I think this is gonna pour out. But yeah, I guess that's what they were looking for. It kind of sinks a little bit too when it came out of the oven. Like in the oven, it was like, oh God, it's gonna touch the ceiling. And then it kind of deflated a bit. But yeah, his main problem was he added like all the sugar, and so it was like extremely sweet. So I'm surprised they even gave him first.
They also didn't explain how that happened, because he read the recipe as use your remaining sugar, and he goes, that's a lot of sugar, but okay. And he's the only one who misread that instruction, because everyone else used the right amount of sugar. And like,
I guess
I want to know, I guess there was no room for it in the edit, but I'm like, what happened? Did they put extra sugar on his bench? Like, why did he misread that part of the recipe?
Yeah, very weird. Yeah, I mean, and then I do give him a lot of credit for being first and still ranking first, because again, when you're like, you could at least kind of like cheat a little, look over, hey, are you guys using that one? Oh, it looks like you did use the flour, or whatever. But I guess I don't know what happened to the sugar. I'm surprised that again that it chemically rose in a normal way.
Yeah.
Oh, but there you go.
It was also
souffle.
I was just going to say also, it was earlier this season that they were calling her Techie Les, right? For being so good at technicals. Wasn't that correct? I feel like I remember them saying specifically the phrase Techie Les, which I was like, this is a hilarious thing for you to be saying.
Okay, I missed that, but I believe it.
I am astounded that also that of anyone, if he did not bring up Techie Les, like that feels like we should have been talking about Techie Les this entire time.
We should
walk into any independent theater company, you're going to find 3 or 4 of them, and they're all going to be so good at their jobs. But I was so sad to see the fall of Techie Les here, and that she was not doing so well. It was crushing.
I can't believe I missed that. Techie Les feels like
they did say it once. I think it was like they said Techie Toby a lot, and then that was like alliterative, I guess. But then I think because Leslie won, then they were like, oh, maybe it's Techie Les.
Yeah, I was really hoping for that.
Yeah, but then well,
Techie Les is my favorite like stereotype in like an action movie.
Yeah.
You get like the gadget guy and the Techie Les.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. Really cool hair. I could see.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Yeah. Can I just say, I went to the Penn and Teller 50th anniversary tour last night here in LA.
What?
Wow.
Okay.
And the amount of specifically women with blue hair in the audience was like higher than any other, maybe next to like the Ren Fair. You know what I mean? But just on the Ren Fair was Penn and Teller's show.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
I don't think I've ever really thought about what their demographic is, but that doesn't surprise me, I suppose. Yeah.
Cool.
It's like you wouldn't have to think about it, but the second you think about it, you're like, yes, that makes sense. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Sure.
That's amazing. Were they your kind of, growing up local?
Well, so
heroes?
I grew up in Las Vegas, Nevada, for those pots and pans who have not heard me say that. And so all of the magicians of that era are my hero. Like I literally have a Siegfried and Roy shirt, Lance Burton, David Copperfield, like all those guys are like my guys.
That's amazing.
Which is why I was like, oh, they're like, I've seen Penn and Teller before in Vegas, but they're doing a 50th anniversary tour. Of course, I'm going to go see that. You know what I mean?
Very cool. Wow. Wait, and then 50th anniversary of what? Them
performing together.
Magic? And you performed for 50 years? Oh my God.
God, how old are they now? I truly did not realize how old
they started young, but they are older. They they both have like, or no. Teller doesn't have a family, but Penn has like grown kids who do their own magic now.
Sure.
Wow.
Amazing. Well, hey, that's the golden anniversary, 50 years together.
Is that, what's the gift on that? Is it gold?
I think so. Yeah.
What do you think they got each other?
Grandparents.
Solid gold playing cards?
Yeah, hopefully. Gold. I don't know. You would know better. Yeah, a gold dove for each other to release from their hat. I don't know what they do.
It's perfect.
I know Teller doesn't tell. He doesn't speak. Is that right? Okay, great.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
On stage, that's like his persona. But he has, he does interviews and stuff. He's like, he's not mute. I think that's like a popular misconception. It's like, it's just like, he doesn't do any of the banter on stage, but he's just like a normal guy.
Yeah.
What? The magic totally
Ugh.
got erased.
Yeah.
Carry it into your life. No.
They have
Fascinating.
bits. Okay, sorry, I could talk about them forever. They have like clips from like the 80s and 90s where he'll use that to like surprise the audience. Like he'll like hold
Oh,
out a card and then like scream in their face because it's like they're not expecting him to speak. You know what I mean? Like it's funny.
Okay.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right. Let's move on.
Good trick. No, that's a good trick to have. I believe it. I like that. Okay. Yeah, it's a bit of a showstopper. And that's how I bring us into the
There it
showstopper
is.
Well
challenge.
done.
Hey?
Well done.
Okay. So the showstopper challenge, what a challenge. It really trips up a lot of people.
Yeah.
But basically they have to create a beautifully decorated vacheron glacé,
Love it.
which is like a
Yeah.
big meringue thing.
Can I
It's
say
an
now
ice
to
cream cake, right?
yeah,
Oh, okay, that's
it's an
what it
ice
is.
cream
Sorry,
cake.
sorry.
I just want to say to all of the restaurants in LA, we're not doing enough vacheron glacés
I
because
agree.
I would eat this every single meal.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And ice, just like you're a big ice cream cake guy.
I'm a huge ice cream guy,
Yeah.
and as we've already covered, I'm a huge meringue guy. You put these two together,
That-
if it's on the menu, I'm ordering it.
That's great.
Yeah, I do love. I will say, yeah, as a kid, I loved ice cream cake, and one of the ones that stands out. Have you guys ever been to
Carvel.
Fossilman's?
Oh yeah, Fossilman's is great.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think so.
It's out here in it's in Alhambra,
Alhambra,
kind of.
yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
east of LA, but it is very, I think it like 1921 established or
It's
something. It's been around
like
for
an
a while.
old timey soda
old
shop
school.
style.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I know what
But
you're talking about.
I do love. I got a mint chocolate chip ice cream cake from there. I think for like my 13th birthday, stands out in my mind. And what I like about their chips is they're real small. Like it's like veins of chocolate rather than like
That's great.
big
Yeah,
chunks.
yeah.
So you kind
That's
of it integrates with the mint very well.
Nice.
Anyway, they still
Love
got
Fossilman's. The other like old timey soda shoppy one in LA that I have not been to is Fair Oaks Pharmacy, which is in
yes,
Pasadena. And I haven't been because they keep the hours of a pharmacy. They close at like 3. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not getting
Morning?
ice cream for breakfast. Get out of here.
Nasty. Yeah, you want a lunchtime ice cream cake,
Yeah.
vacheron glacé.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't been in a while, and maybe that's why. Well, keep it open later. Okay, so yes, this vacheron glacé consists of an exquisite meringue shell, and it contains ice cream. Love it. So we'll start with Jasmine. Oh my God, her scallop shell, really amazing.
So cute.
Amazing choice of mold there. It was basically a French meringue shell, pistachio praline, strawberry, pistachio and stracciatella ice cream.
Mhm.
Delicious combination there.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my first Tom question about helping. At
Here we
one
go.
point, she's like, she borrowed a sieve. She had like a small little sieve. It was like kind of one of those spoony ones.
Yeah.
And then she's like, oh, Tom's gonna give me one. Let me borrow one. And so then she came back, had a bigger one. She said, Tom's provided. And then they were able to pour and basically do the thing she needed to do. So I'm like, does that count?
I think so.
Yeah. It's structural
that's
support.
clearly help.
Yeah.
'Cause
I feel like traditionally when we talk about helping another baker on our pod, we talk about like hands-on, like helping to assemble something or plate something. And to me, this is like virtually the same thing. It is like, I'm in a tight spot. Can I have a hand from you? And it's like, yes, here's a tool or instrument that you can use to complete your task.
Mhm.
Okay, great. Yeah, I kind of felt like that was. And it's like in theory, like he did hand her the sieve. So there was a hand involved. Okay, so I will be giving him 1 point for that, helping another baker. Okay, here's another question. At one point, Jasmine says, I'm literally shaking. And she doesn't specify her hands, but she is. This is when she is taking out, like, anytime anybody's removing the baked meringues, they're all freaked out because it's very fragile. So did we want to give her half a point for that? Because that's normally we say my hands are shaking.
Okay, again, didn't take notes. Someone else did say my hands are shaking in this episode,
Somebody
right?
did very clearly. Aaron was a great points getter of being clear and I'll discuss
following the
later.
rules to a T.
We love it. But yes, this was a little more up in the air.
I think that counts. Did we see? I mean, that's the real question. Is I can't remember if there was visual evidence of her shaking as she took it out of the oven. Because if that was the case, then 100%. But I don't know. I'm also willing to be like, why not? But at this point, I see where things are going for my team, and I'm sure Iffy would be upset if he saw. Please don't clip this for Iffy. Don't let him know that I'm saying this. There's not a snowball's chance in hell that Iffy's going to win this league. So I'm okay with other people just go ahead, give them all.
Like,
Okay, yeah, I was going to say I am a very partial judge here. As Jasmine is my contestant, I would say. Yeah, but then I could also hear the argument that's like, no, it needs to be the full quote. We have said that for other roles in the past, where it needs to be, my hands are shaking. So I'm kind of up in the air about it.
I will say I'm kind of leaning towards giving this one a half a point because the way they angled it, she was like, I'm literally shaking. Those her hands I didn't see shake in that moment. They were shooting her hands and she was taking it out of the mold. So it's like you kind of infer like, what are you talking about there? Well, probably your hands.
Yeah,
so
it's not her feet shaking.
I'm gonna say
not shaking her hips.
She's not. Yeah, she's not doing the meringue. So yeah, I think if we're all kind of leaning that direction, let's give her half a point.
I accept. Okay, that being said, those of you folks at home who are playing along, feel free to make your own judgment call amongst your little group chat. We did get a few pots and pans writing in this week, giving their own takes on whether or not Soggy Bottom is getting points. So thank you to everyone who wrote in on that. Make your own call. Yeah.
Because the one last week, that was also a little bit, amorphous. Yeah. So I think that's the beauty of these fantasy leagues is you can make your own call. And we'll be here for you every step of the way. All right. So the shell kind of breaks when she is taking it out. That's okay. That was like the one issue really with her whole thing. But overall, they were like, the ice cream tastes delicious. It was very neat. It was really just the shell cracking that was the problem, but all around pretty successful. Aaron did his kitsune sundae. This was lemongrass meringue, lime and lemongrass sorbet, stem ginger ice cream, which apparently is a higher quality ginger. But yeah, so he did say, "Oh my God, my hands are shaking" at some point. So he definitely gets half a point for that.
Aaron really racking him up.
Yeah, we love a clear distinction. And then he also fully helped Toby with some setting spray. So that was hands-on, very clear. That's 1 point for him there.
Are we getting any vibes from Aaron that tell us that he's a weeb? Because that's what I was wondering. When I saw him bring out the kitsune, I was like, is this coming because you watched Naruto as a kid? Or is this coming just because you happen to be a culturally well-versed human being who enjoys the other mythical creatures? Because I could see it going either way. That's really what I need to get to the bottom of. I'm going to do a lot more Instagram stalking after this just to see if he has referenced any anime in his entire life.
Yeah, I wonder. I kind of looking back at his bakes, nothing stood out to me. This was the first time where I was like, oh wow, like full kitsune, like that's like a pretty deep cut in some ways. But I kind of feel like I have felt some of that. I don't know.
Sometimes you get the vibe.
I don't know if I'm like assuming things.
Yeah, I feel like if he were here. And I'm on thin ice here speaking on behalf of the entire black community, but I feel like the stereotype of black dudes who watch anime, if it would be like 1000% this guy watches anime.
That's really the big thing is that when Iffy comes back, just keep this in your head and be like, Iffy, we need your final advice, your final ruling on do you think that Aaron watches Sailor Moon? Like that's such an important thing to really lock in.
I would go so far as to say that as a gay black man, I would venture to say Aaron's probably dressed up as Sailor Moon for Halloween one year or two.
Hope. Okay, he would look great.
He would look amazing.
That would be a great. I mean, that's the thing. That is a great costume. We've kind of maybe discussed this, but do you guys have costume ideas for this year? It feels like a tough year.
No, it is a tough year.
Joy.
Wait, have we already talked about this? Were we talking about this off mic a couple weeks ago?
A little, yeah.
There's no idea, like nothing happened this year. There's no big cultural event. There's no Barbenheimer. You know what I mean? There's nothing in the zeitgeist where it's like, that's a costume.
Yeah.
The one thing, I mean, for kids, we're thinking like K-pop demon hunters will obviously be huge. And like that kind of fits into the Sailor Moon thing where it's like you get to wear like awesome hair and like
get to be with your friends.
Yeah, like cool. It's just a very that kind of feels like this generation Sailor Moon in some ways, maybe.
I think I know a lot of people who have said they're going to be Aunt Gladys from Weapons.
Yeah, I was assuming a lot of Weapons. My fiance and I are going to most likely go as a weapons reference. I'll just wait until we actually put up the Halloween costume, see if we actually do it. But I was going to say that weapons is the safest one for all children if they just want to wear pajamas and run around like that.
That's
for
true.
The entire evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Scares me. Haven't even seen it. Scares me to death. Don't even know what happened, but I know it's scary.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. Okay. So that's a thing. Yeah. Hopefully we'll see some more. I have seen people, even this last weekend, I did like a comedy show where everybody was dressed up and stuff, and I didn't even realize it was time so early.
Yeah. No, I feel like it's going to be one of those years where everyone is like a classic, an all timer. I'm a cowboy, I'm a cop, I'm a nurse, or what. You know what I mean?
Frankenstein and
sure.
Go back into the deep classics. That's all we can do.
Yeah.
Hey, Pots and Pans, if you have any Halloween costume ideas specifically for us, please let us know.
Right. And you know what? Generally, what we're allowed to dress out. Our general heights and ages.
Yeah.
What does that allow us to do? All right, wonderful. So kitsune. Yeah, it is funny he did this. Okay. But it looked beautiful, man. I mean, you really nailed it.
Loved it.
Probably some of the best meringue art. I feel like they didn't give them again as much love as maybe it needed, but they did think it was very beautiful. Just a few cracks in the tail, but they loved the ginger, the meringue. They felt was too toffee-ish and solid at the bottom. Maybe like the weight had kind of condensed it a ton. But I guess their other complaint with the flavor was the lime and ginger clash a bit, which I could see. Don't really see those two flavors together often. And ginger, it was like a very strong flavors, but hey, could work. So that was a takeaway with Kitsune Sunday. All right, next was Tom. He did his family forage with that was like the giant mushroom one where he had like the big brown top, which was wrapped in meringue, coffee, Italian meringue top or whatever. It was he had a banana cake, a dulce de leche, and a banana ice cream.
Love it.
So they really liked this. Overall, looked amazing. Strong banana. All layers were delicious. The coffee top they really liked. They said it tastes amazing. And the torched meringue, he did a good job with that torched meringue as it redeemed his torched, technique.
Yeah, I'm caught up on whether I would order this one or was it Ian who did the mango one at a restaurant?
Because I'm like Toby did a mango.
Toby, yeah. To me, those two are sort of like right up my alley flavor profile wise. I'm like, I love a banana dessert and I love a mango dessert. Give me both,
Yeah.
I'm with you on mango. Banana is still a step too far. I like banana in small doses. When I heard that it was all banana, I was like, I don't know. That might be a little too much for me.
You're right. There's banana cake with the ice cream.
Yeah.
And
mere hours ago, I looked around my house thinking, well, I need to buy a banana. There are no bananas here.
That is a thought I have never had in my whole life. That's great.
My worry with banana is I love a fresh banana. I love a banana bread. Sometimes banana in desserts can get a little artificial tasting, like a banana.
Sure. If we're talking about like candy or a banana pudding, like from the supermarket. Yeah, I agree. But if we're talking about like a baked good that a baker made, they're not injecting banana flavoring in there,
I can trust
I don't even know. Banana ice cream. I'm not sure if I've really had a banana ice cream.
Although allegedly, you've heard this, the artificial banana flavoring that we have is what bananas used to taste like.
Yeah, I heard that, which is kind of, that was a thing I learned, I feel like a couple years ago, and it really threw me for a loop. That one was like, this is a paradigm shift. I never got to taste that fruit. What can I do?
It feels... It feels like an urban legend, but it is like verifiable fact that it's like we based that flavoring on the bananas we had at the time, and then those bananas just like went extinct. So like the bananas we have now are like bastardized versions of the bananas that we used to have.
Right. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Terrifying.
To your point, there's a specific joy in trying a new fruit. Next time you're traveling abroad, Pots and Pans, try a fruit. There's a lot of fruits that we can't ship to America because like it just like the lifespan won't, you know what I mean? Like it'll get damaged in transit. Try a local fruit. Try some new fruit. You think you've had all the fruit on earth? You haven't. No. Go to another country, get some fruit. That's my little tip for today. Yeah.
How fun. That is a great tip. Yeah. Yeah. Try some fruit. Yeah. Gosh, I didn't even think about that.
Every now and then, it's like if you're traveling, just like pop into a supermarket, not something you do often on vacation, or like try and find a farmer's market and get something that looks fucking weird. You know what I mean?
What is the most recent new fruit you have tasted? What's the most recent? Because I had snake fruit for the first time
Whoa,
last
what's
I don't know
year.
what
snake
that is.
fruit?
It's called shellac. It looks like, if you search it up, it looks like a pangolin, like it's scaly.
Oh,
And it's kind
Whoa.
of like,
snake.
if I'm remembering correctly, it's kind of got like a crisp to it, like a crunch kind of vibe when you're
Yeah.
biting into it. It's a weird little tropical fruit, and I enjoyed it. But that
Whoa.
was truly the one fruit recently that I was like, wow, I just had a new experience right now, and I'm
Yeah.
enjoying
Whoa,
it.
where
It was
was
very
that? Where'd you find
that
that?
was in Indonesia is where I tried it.
Whoa.
But it's
Yeah,
very
Nice.
that's
nice.
there's got to be lots of good stuff.
Whoa.
Fascinating. I
Mhm.
I don't even know if I've had anything that out there. Like, I mean stuff even here. It's like I had star fruit,
Mm.
which like I hadn't
Yeah.
really had,
Yeah.
and like it's like, oh, it's great. But then you're like not supposed to have too much or something because it's kind of tough on your
Yeah,
kidneys or
yeah. It's
something.
very acidic.
Um,
Yeah.
Good to know.
so that's good to, I just in moderation.
Yeah. I
That
don't know
was
what the last
cool.
one I had was. I feel like the last like 10 trips I've taken were all in Europe, and Europe does kind of just have the same fruits.
Yeah, I tried this new thing called an apple the other day. It's
Ooh.
very
From the
exciting.
tree. I
Wow.
Yeah.
know there was some Netflix show, I think one of those space sci-fi shows that had like a rambutan like in the
Mm.
show, like, oh, this is from outer
Oh, well, this
space. And
weird
everybody was like,
exotic
well,
thing.
you can
Yeah.
get that. I
That's
feel like,
yeah.
yeah, they have it here in the market. But it
Yeah.
does look really cool because it's got like tendrils.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yes, okay. So back to this banana guy.
Right.
Yeah, they generally liked his, and then Tom was very in trouble a bit, so he really had to redeem himself in the showstopper,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
luckily it seems he did.
Yeah.
So that
Mm-hmm.
was good. But we can move on to Toby with his mango. So another great fruit. Mango tree was the title. He had a coconut meringue tree, coconut ice cream, mango sorbet.
Mm-hmm.
He said he was lactose intolerant as a baby, so he grew up on goat's milk,
Right.
Mhm.
and that was kind of the inspiration for making kind of a lactose free dessert here, which
Right.
is kind of
Right.
funny because I'm like, well, because I'm lactose intolerant now, and I'm like that would
Mhm.
be good but I'm also like, well, you were as a baby, so it's like, who
Yeah.
cares, man? You can eat it now, like, great, good for you,
We have
man.
medicine for that now. You can take a lactate and be fine.
True,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, there is a
Yeah.
little bit of that being like, I went through a terrible trial as a child where I couldn't have milk, and now I'm all better. But just in case you
Yeah.
have that problem,
Yeah.
I guess.
Losers. Yeah,
Couldn't
I don't
be
know
me,
what's
but
because I'm
Have you
like,
guys been
actually,
to
yeah.
oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, as a kid, I was allergic to chocolate, but like,
Wait,
I
what?
don't.
Whoa, that's rough.
that's
It was, but
seems
I will
rare.
say it was great because what happened is, I think when you're allergic to something as a kid, you like just don't have it, so you don't know what you're missing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
knew people liked it. I knew chocolate was all the rage.
Mhm.
But the best part was as a kid in class, like if everybody got chocolate for some reason, somebody brought in chocolate cupcakes for the birthday or whatever,
Right.
everybody would like glom to me, being like, Sierra, choose me to have your chocolate cupcake. And then I would get to like
Oh,
give it to
bargain.
like, yeah, I was like
You were a
Yeah.
little spy master at age
yeah.
7. Just
Yeah,
who deserves
I am
a
your
favor?
queen.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
really, like that's beautiful. I think that's great.
So it
Finally,
gave me a lot of power. And then
Wow.
I grew out of it. So luckily I can't have chocolate now.
Okay, what is it
and it's
like
great.
growing out of an allergy? At what point were you like, I'm gonna give this a shot and hope my throat doesn't close? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess I was young enough. You know what? Probably it was. It probably wasn't so severe. I think I got like rashes, but it wasn't like a scary one the way like peanuts can be and a lot of kids'
Yeah,
allergies
yeah.
can be. So I think it was probably like, well, we can try it a little bit, and then look, it's not even a rash. So we're
Right,
probably really
right.
good. So
Mhm.
I think it was lucky that maybe I avoided it even longer than I needed to.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've heard now like with parents and stuff, it's like they kind of just try a little bit over the years and have like the EpiPen ready to go.
Yeah,
And then,
yeah.
or like the hospital on speed dial. Yeah. But,
Yeah.
and then, you just sort of like, at least you're doing it in a controlled environment just in case they get introduced to
Right.
it in like an
Mhm.
uncontrolled way. Then it's not like the end
Right.
of the world.
Yeah, I had a
Um,
period in my life where
interesting.
a doctor did the allergy test on me and was like, "You're allergic to sesame," and I was like, "Oh, that's unfortunate because I enjoy sesame." So it's still like, like every time it was in a dish, I'd be like, "I guess I shouldn't get like the Dan noodles," you know what I mean? But I'd still eat like an everything bagel, or like if a pita had tahini in it, I'd be like, "I'm fine." And then years later, I went to a different doctor. I was like, "Hey." A long time ago, a doctor said I was allergic to sesame, and like I just want to like check see if that's true. And he didn't even do a test. He just looked me in the eye. and was like, Well, if you've been eating sesame and nothing's happening, I don't think you're allergic to sesame. I was like, you're right. You're right. I don't know why I brought this up. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
No,
That's like one of the only things you can check without a medical degree is, am I still allergic to this? That's very easy to
My
tell.
life.
Yeah.
My breathing. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, it seems like a lot of those allergy tests, though great, can kind of be imperfect and like, or, you know, like.
Sierra, do you like chocolate now, or is it like because you didn't grow up with it, you just don't have a taste for it?
No, I do. I'm more of like a dark chocolate person, I would say, though. Like
sure.
I love a dark chocolate, and I kind of go in phases. I'm not like crazy about it, where like some people it's just like bars all the time.
Yeah.
I'm more like, you know, I'll have a craving here and there, and I like it in a dessert for sure. But I think I could also be overwhelmed. Like if I'm doing like a chocolate molten lava cake, as we've discussed on the show, I do like a little side of ice cream.
Okay.
But then I got to take my Lactaid. So you win some, you lose some.
Oh, I was going to say this. Have either of you guys been to Fluffy McLeod's in Echo Park, an ice cream shop here in LA?
Oh,
no.
Heard of it. Yeah.
Is it
good?
Great ice cream shop in Echo Park. They have a Lactaid like vending machine, like an old timey gumball machine, but just with Lactaid in it. Yeah.
That's genius.
I hope they probably mark up the price a lot.
I mean, look, you put in a quarter and you get a handful of Lactaid. How much could that markup possibly be? You know what I mean?
Right, you're right.
The street value of Lactaid these days.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I'm just going to stand outside with like a trench coat and sell it like a little cheaper. But okay, speaking of this lactose Toby guy, he said he grew up on goat's milk. Have you guys ever gotten into goat's milk?
Can't say I have.
As far as
goat cheese. Yeah.
Oh yeah, goat cheese is great. Yeah. No, goat's milk. Okay, I think I had it as a kid because I don't know. It was supposed to be like, I don't know. Maybe my parents were weird, but I think there was some sort of like benefit. But I just remember it having like bits in it and like being grossed out.
Oh, it has bits? They don't strain goat's milk?
I don't know what was going on.
Interesting. It was. I feel like maybe now with the boba craze, everyone could accept the bits.
Gross,
they would be like, "That's fine."
They're like,
well,
"I'm
a little chewy bonus at the end."
Drink.
Yeah, natural boba.
Yeah.
The goat makes the boba and the milk. How amazing! It's a boba making machine.
The phrase "the goat makes the boba" just makes me feel terrible. I hate.
That's our new shirt.
Phrase.
The goat makes the boba.
Goat makes the boba, and it's a silhouette of a goat, and there's boba coming out.
Yeah.
Delicious. But okay, great. So nobody's in the goat's milk thing. We love it. Toby was though, and so I don't know. He brought that up, but I don't think there's goat's milk in this delicious dessert. Luckily, it was neat and lovely. They loved the pastel colors. The sorbet was delicious and light. It reminded Paul of drinking a pina colada. Great,
perfect.
Paul.
Love it.
Meringue was well baked.
Just want to point out, pina colada, not known for having mango in it, but close enough.
Coconut and tropical fruit of any variety.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminded him of like, oh, you know what? I could use the other tropical fruits that I'm not eating right now. But yes, fascinating. Paul really loves his pina colada by the pool. But yeah, he did Toby was crushing it. So, love to see it. Again, he's like, sometimes, he's a little hit or miss. He's always been good at the technicals, but he really hasn't been great at the other two. So this was kind of a good surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that. Okay, coming on to Ian, of course, our little nerd, our bake-off nerd with his Bingate redemption. As we kind of, so when we were drafting, we noticed Ian from Belfast. It was like, oh, I'm Ian from Belfast, but not like that Ian from Belfast. And we're like, what are you even talking about? But then, of course, you knew, Mike, about this Bingate.
Well, our pots and pans knew, because I'm pretty bad about remembering like names and seasons, but people are like, it was Bingate. And I was like, oh, of course, I remember Bingate.
Yeah.
Bingate. So yes. Yes, it's back, and they showed the full clip of the original Ian from Belfast, and it was kind of dramatic. I hadn't gone back and watched it, so I did like realize, oh yeah, that's like high drama for the tent.
Huge,
like,
because it also involved a second person. It was like, oh, allegedly it was taken out of the freezer by someone else. It was sabotage. It was this whole thing. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely would stick out in my memory. And as a result, Ian wanted to make his vacherin glacé in the shape of a bin with dark chocolate ice cream, coffee sorbet, and chantilly cream. The bin part looked great, and he really made it look like metal.
Yeah.
He's always been great at kind of crafting stuff. He's good at that sort of artistic ability.
Can I just say that the Brits calling it a bin is very unsatisfying to my ear. I think that as comedians, sometimes you get caught up on like what's the funniest version of to say this, and trash can is so much more satisfying. Do you know what I mean? We got it right with trash can. Bin is like this. It's 3 letters. It's barely a syllable. Like you could Guy Fieri couldn't have bin nachos. You know what I mean? He has trash can nachos. Sure. It's so much more satisfying to say.
Guy Fieri would not be famous. He wouldn't have become a recognizable figure if it was.
You need all those consonants in there. Trash can.
Yeah, because it's such a clattery device too. You're like opening it and it's banging.
Bin sounds polite.
You're throwing
it's too cute.
Your bottles.
Too cute.
Bin,
too cute.
It comes and it goes. I agree. Ben Gates. It's like, well, what happened, Ben? I'm thinking of. Are you talking about a guy
trash can
Ben?
gate? I know some shit went down.
Trash can gate. Yeah, dump gate. big dump gate. I don't know, something even that. But this was. You're right. It doesn't do it justice. But I guess, and then the main problem was the ice cream flavor. They were like, ooh, that chocolate is too strong. And the coffee flavor. Whoa. So that was crazy. I didn't expect the ice cream to go so badly.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
So yes, but overall it looked really good. And, he just kind of delivered on at least a very specific theme. So that was nice. Leslie bringing up the end here with her wedding cake. This was with those ruffles that you were describing earlier, Mike, with the kind of white and red. Very nice. She did a lemon and basil ice cream, strawberry Eton mess ice cream. And Eton mess is a traditional English dessert consisting of a mixture of strawberries or other berries, meringue, and whipped cream.
Okay, I wanted to talk about this because I feel like they did not address the fact. I love an Eton mess. I feel like you never see it on a menu at a restaurant. I've had it a couple times. It's meringue. It's a meringue dessert. So to make it's like ice cream with bits of meringue in it inside of your meringue ice cream dessert. I'm like, it's a little Inception-y, and no one's talking about how funny that is. I think that's really funny.
It's like when they came up with the cookies and cream Oreos, and I was like, that's the
it's just cookies and cream, cookies and cream,
and then turns it back. Okay, sure.
Oh, whoa,
it is a little bit of a hat on a hat there. But I do love an Eton mess, and I think the one thing about this though is that like Eton mess in my brain, I'm like, it should just be a big thing you crush all together and then spoon up as like a big bowl of mash, right?
Yeah.
It's my favorite kind of dessert is big mash, and of any form, right?
A bowl of stuff.
Yeah. So I think that was one of those things where I was like, okay, I'll see where this goes, Leslie. But truly, I mean, we had already alluded to it, the ratio mix up here.
Right.
That
That's
one,
right.
This is the first time. I mean, last week we talked about how it was a tight race. We weren't sure who was going. This week, I was like, it's going to be Leslie.
We all know.
Because that's like,
Yeah.
I can understand mixing up a ratio in the heat of the moment. But usually those ratios are like 2 to 3, 4 to 5. This is a 1 to 2 ratio of egg whites to sugar. I feel like you should know the difference between which of those goes in. Like, surely after you've cracked too many eggs, you're like, I never did this.
This doesn't feel right. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
That was my thought about the meringue, was just being like, that is such a very clear visual change that I would hope that you'd be like, oh, there's something weird about this, right?
But I also know that there are some people who like Ron Burgundy will read whatever is on the teleprompter. You know what I mean? Where it's like
the recipe.
She just wrote the recipe and she's like, I'm not thinking, I'm just doing what's on the card because I don't have time to think. I have so many things to do, you know?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I just also think like she was already pretty struggling.
Yeah.
Blasting the technical. And it's like at this point, you're so high, some people perform well under pressure, some people do not, and it seems like she really kind of was stressed, and maybe
the amount of stress that she was under, I felt like she was getting looser in this episode. Maybe that was just my opinion, is that I was like, finally she's free from the shackles, she's able to like finally show a little more personality, and I loved that for Leslie. I felt like I really fell for her in this episode, and I made it even harder for later, not to be a spoiler, but
Sure. No, it does come out a little bit more, I think, when they realize like, let's just forget it. Oftentimes because these bakes are so long and they're just hours, right? So it's like oftentimes they know and they have like 3 more hours to go, and it's like, let's have some fun with it.
Yeah.
She ran into a lot of issues here, had to restart the meringue, and of course she's already restarted an element here earlier in the episode, so we won't give her more points for that, but just to highlight, that she was struggling. She did cry at one point though, so she gets half a point for that.
Tears.
Love that.
Yeah.
But overall, like, I mean, gosh, it was a really ambitious project, this wedding cake. They said it looked very fresh, which I agree. Like, there were like a lot of cool elements. The basil and strawberry flavors came through nicely and they were delicious. The meringue was a little chewy because, again, she had to restart and was underbaked by the time. But, that was like the main thing she knew would be bad, and it was. So, yeah, kind of came together in the way she thought. But yes, Leslie definitely a good sport here, shined through personality. We've kind of gotten to know her mainly that she's got Mabel, so she
loves Mabel.
She'll see Mabel soon. But anyway, so that was that. I guess we get into deliberations here. And in line for Star Baker are Toby and Jasmine this week for a point each. And that's kind of a first for Toby. Like, I don't think he's really been at this.
Yeah, he's always been in the middle.
He's always been in the middle. Yeah. And really tends to have something majorly wrong with like the showstopper. So I feel like, I don't know. It's like, it definitely feels like he's more of the technical guy. So that was cool to see. Obviously, Jasmine always crushing it. In trouble, Leslie and Ian now. They just hated his ice cream, so it sent him down. But but hey, the rhubarb maybe saved him. So finally we announced Star Baker, and that goes to Toby for the first time. It's his first Star Baker. And then going home is Leslie.
Bummer.
We kind of saw that come in, but But hey, Toby cries a little when he's calling his partner.
That's right. That was so cute.
Yeah,
I love that.
So he gets half a point for that. Very exciting.
So many points.
Yeah, so pretty good. Yeah, big scoring episode for sure for everybody. And next week is dessert week.
Ooh,
lovely.
Very exciting.
To me, they're all dessert week, but sure.
Yeah.
No, I never. Well, it's like when they call it pastry week. I'm like, wait, well, okay, that's the specific thing. So it's like, what is the component?
It's
that is
also
dessert?
tough because like the British phrasing of pudding versus dessert and how there is some difference, but also they call like not the difference that we Americans have where pudding is a specific kind of dessert. It's more like dessert is a specific kind of pudding.
There's like a pudding course.
It's so weird. Yeah, no, you're totally right. Because it's like sticky toffee pudding, but it's cake. But like realize here, sometimes they'll put on the menu as like sticky toffee pudding cake. Just so people don't like get in. They're like, I thought it was going to be pudding.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like definitely just sticky toffee pudding. But then, I would always be confused if there was ever any mention of pudding. I was like, well, obviously it's going to be pudding in a cup, right?
Yeah.
They're crazy over there. Okay. So I guess before we get into the points breakdown, any wrapping up thoughts on this episode?
No, dog. Go ahead.
Well, the only thing I was going to bring up was how last week we talked about how we were like, Aaron could have maybe gotten Star Baker here. They could have given it where it was like close enough between Jasmine and Aaron. And I felt the same thing here where I was like very close between Jasmine and Toby, but they're kind of letting Toby have one. It felt like to me. And I was like, should have given Aaron one. Not just because I didn't get any points last week, but like, I think you should have given Aaron one last week. I think that should have been the king.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I do think definitely it's like Jasmine has been knocking it out of the park. So they're kind of like, look, they do kind of need to look to see who else can kind of shake things up a bit. But yeah, you're right. Aaron, justice for Aaron, as that's kind of the ongoing theme, it seems.
I mean, look, we'll see. I have faith that, exactly. He could take the whole thing.
I mean, 5 left. Yeah. 5 left after this. So truly we're getting close. Pretty exciting. Okay. So we'll get into these points breakdowns, and there'll be a couple extra that obviously we kind of discussed today. So if I miss any, let me know. But okay, first ingredients from home. That was the lemon verbena from Leslie. She gets half a point for that. Nice. Handshakes. Oh yeah, this one's a little complicated now because Jasmine did get one, but it's a +1 handshake, a point handshake with the left, and Toby got a full one with the right for 2 points. Technical third went to Toby for half a point. Technical second went to Jasmine for a point, and technical first went to Ian for 1.5 points. Crying, both Leslie and Toby cried, so they both get half a point.
Yeah.
Helping another baker, we're saying now Aaron and Tom both helped, so they both get a point. Gutted, Leslie said that. Very clear. Hands are shaking. Now that's going to Aaron and Jasmine for half a point each. Restarting in element Leslie, though she only gets half a point, but did it a bunch. And then in line for Star Baker, Jasmine and Toby for a point, and Star Baker goes to Toby for 2. So,
wow.
I got to do a little bit of some additions here.
No, everyone loves this part. I can cover it for you. No, we'll do a little bit of mailbag. Thanks to all the pots and pans who wrote in about the chicken and Crystal Light smoothie from Love is Blind. It's really just chum in the water in terms of discourse. Everyone's got an opinion on the chicken Crystal Light smoothie. Okay, one of our pots and pans sent us a link to the profile of the illustrator who does the drawings on Bake Off. His name is Tom Hovey. But then that Potter Pan deleted the message, so I don't know if they want us to know that we saw it, but we did.
Got it.
So thanks for sending us Tom Hovey's information. Potter Pan Liz found the Top Chef Quickfire Cookbook at her local Savers. It cost her $4.98. And it covers seasons 1 through 5. It's from 2009, and she did purchase it and sent us a couple screenshots, and it looks incredible. Feels like in the same line as the Top Chef board game and CD-ROM game that we have in the studio that we have yet to play, but I still can't wait to dive in.
Gotta get a PC that takes a CD-ROM.
Right.
God, I forgot all about like that era of making DVD games and like CD games.
Yeah.
Like there's a very weird market that no longer exists for that kind of stuff.
And we've lost something by getting rid of that market.
Honestly.
Really, I loved a DVD game.
Market.
Yeah.
So many good. Yeah, truly. The instant gratification of those. Okay, so the points have been tallied with the adjustments we discussed.
Love this.
And this week we got Mike, you gained 4 points.
That's it?
I believe so.
I mean, 4 is a lot, but I'm like, with the amount of things we were just rattling off.
I know. Well, because so basically I with our scoreboard, now I got to introduce this handshake for a point.
Right.
But so basically, Jasmine, you had get at least, let's
No, I trust you. This is not me doubting your math. I'm just like, come on, man.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. But Jasmine and Ian, you got some 4 points. That's pretty good. Okay,
4 points.
Brian, for Iffy, you got 4.5 points.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, that Leslie, on her way out, she racked up like 2 points. Aaron got 2.5. So
that was giving me some solace, was being like, I could see Leslie going, and I'm going to lose a lot of point making power for Iffy. But at least on the way out, Leslie really brought it home.
Yeah, that's the hope, is that on the way out, they're crying, they're sobbing, they're starting over, they're shaking, whatever they can do to redeem themselves. But the thing is, now Iffy only has Aaron. Yeah.
Right.
So that is tough because, I think for a while there he had more than us, and now he lost 2 in a row with Natalia and now Leslie. So then this week I gained 7 points.
Wow.
And that is quite
7.
a lot of that was Toby. Obviously he was 6 those 7. So that was a good week for him.
That's impressive.
So that puts our totals at Brian. You have 21.5 points for Iffy. Pretty good. Yeah. Mike, you've got 30 points.
Okay.
And I now have 31 points.
Oh, 30. Okay. All right. Here we go. We got a game, folks.
Very close. Very close. And
I was so excited to even break into the 20s. I was watching
you're fully broke.
See, and I was like, oh, hell, look at me in the 20s, and now you're already on the 30s.
That's true.
Ridiculous.
That's true, but listen, Aaron needs some back pay, I think, plus interest. So that might happen.
That's true.
We'll see.
Yeah.
And then the rest of us, so it's five bakers left. We got dessert week. We've got whatever else there is to come, but very exciting. And it's still anyone's game, I think.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of points to be had getting into the finals, winning, all that stuff kind of puts us over as well. So and now we got this whole left-handed handshake thing going. Who knows how many of those are gonna?
Who knows? Rest of the season could be wild, just filthy with left-handed handshakes.
Yeah, truly. Now that that's on the table. But so thank you for again being with us, Brian. Meringue week hopefully was
happy to.
Better than pastry week. I don't know. Maybe dessert week will be better as well.
I'm really hoping for Aaron to just turn it all around to this next episode. I believe in him.
Hell yeah.
It's gonna work out.
He's been strong. And then, hopefully now you can fully surrender yourself to monetizing this hobby and hating watching it. Now that you know how to live this life.
It's great.
Okay. But yes, thank you. And that's been Meringue Week, folks.
Mm-hmm.
If you like this podcast, share it with someone. But also, please go to MaximumFun.org/join, where you can support us for as little as $5 a month. It really helps us out and keeps us going. If you have any thoughts or suggestions, please drop us a line on Instagram at TV Chef Fantasy League, or follow us, or send us an email at chef@maximumfun.org. If you're doing your own Great British Bake Off Fantasy League with friends, please tag us and tell us how you're doing. We also have merch. Check it out at maxfunstore.com. For full unedited episodes, you can check us out on YouTube. Thanks again to my co-hosts, Mike Cabellon, and guest co-host, David Gilbert. Thank you. TV Chef Fantasy League is a Maximum Fun production. Our producer is Valerie Moffat. Our engineer is Gabe Mara. Our theme song is by Dylan Van Auken. Our artwork is by Sabrina Volante. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube at TV Chef Fantasy League.